All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. All that jazz. I want to get right to the point here. I'm, pretty pissed off about the Yankees. I think it's pretty self-explanable as to why, but, the season started off pretty good, in my opinion. The opening series, I think it was some really fun baseball. They won 2 out of 3, and even the game that they lost, they actually didn't really look all that bad in. Blue Jays series, they did split, but when it's a team that is that good, and one of the games was against Alek Manoah, who for some reason just, I don't want to say for some reason, he is really good. I always talk shit about Alek Manoah, but he is a good pitcher. He has the Yankees number, no doubt. Took 2 out of 4, split the series with the Blue Jays. Vibes were still pretty good, especially considering we won, the final game of that series. Then we go to Baltimore. Expectation is to, not even just to win 2 out of 3, but honestly to sweep. And that's what the expectation should be. If you guys have been watching the Yankee games, you've seen the graphic Yes put up. I'll put it up on the screen here. The Orioles is what determines the division winner majority of the time. Last year, the Rays dominated them. I think they only had like 1 loss. The year that we won the division in 2019, I think we only had 2 losses against them. So, it's no secret. Whoever plays well against the Orioles most likely is going to win this division, especially when we're talking a division that has 4 teams that are competing for the title. What really irritates me is not just the losses, but kind of everybody's saying that it's the same Yankees as last year. It's way too early for me to even think about that, to be honest. I don't blame those who do have those thoughts because, it does look very similar. I am going to give them a little bit longer of a leash before I start, saying the sky is falling, which that's possible. It is possible this team is going to have the same flaws as last year, but, 10 games in, I'm going to ease up on that. What is the issue is Game 1 against the Baltimore Orioles. The Yankees just, I guess, assume they're the better team, which they are, but they assume they're going to win. Same thing they did last year. What do? They rest players that just do not need to be rested. Aaron Judge sits out Game 1, their best player, obviously. And, the reason is just that it was a scheduled off day. Judge apparently fought to try and be in the lineup, which whether or not that's true, I imagine it is. That's all fine and good. But it shouldn't even be a discussion. Judge shouldn't have to go into Boone's office and ask, why am I not in the lineup? Judge should be in the lineup, especially going forward. Like, after this Baltimore series, like, the only off days Judge should be getting, and I mean this, only off days Judge should be getting the rest of the month, I think he should DH Judge 2 out of every 10 games, and then maybe give him, like, 1 or 2 off days a year, honestly. Because we cannot afford to be losing games to the Orioles like this. And then Game 3, what happens? So, the Yankees lose Game 1, absolutely embarrassment of a game. Game 2, they start out looking really bad. Then the rain delay happens. They actually come back, look pretty good, end up winning 5-2. So I guess Boone all of a sudden thought he was playing with house's money again for some reason. Game 3, he sits Anthony Rizzo, which, he's hitting like 212 or whatever. But I think we'd all agree, run production-wise, Rizzo's been probably our best hitter, maybe next to Stan this season. Boone sits him. And, some of you in the comments right now might be saying, oh, Boone doesn't even make the lineup, it's all a computer. Boone fights to the death that he is in charge of the lineup. So I'm going to take him at his word for it. I'm blaming Boone. And I'm not a Boone hater. I'm not one of those guys that is calling for him to be fired 24/7. Did it just once last year. But besides that, for the most part, I try to be pretty level-headed, especially when making a video. My tweets, if you guys follow me on Twitter at DownOnRourke, I just fire things right off the cuff. Whatever pops in my head goes on Twitter immediately. Here in a video, I'm a little more, this is the day after the Yankees lost yesterday, so I'm not even being irrational when I say this. Boone's bullpen management, this whole entire season, 10 games in, has been really, really good. And honestly, his bullpen management, I would say, probably since, like, August of last year, has been probably the best managing of his career. Just the way he's handled the Yankee bullpen over the last 3 months of baseball has been really solid. I just don't understand the lineup, though. Like, why are we acting as if we can just throw out a B or a C lineup and we're still going to win these games? That's why, going forward, I can't even fathom, yet I can because he's done it. I'd like to imagine there's no way next time we play Baltimore, or any team, you cannot just be assuming that we're the better team, we're going to win. Even if we are far and away better. The 98 Yankees lost, 48 games? You're going to lose games. It's not just a foregone conclusion where, like how the NBA is, like the NFL is. Like if a team's way worse or way better, it's not a guaranteed conclusion. Not at all. I was talking to Jake the other day, and at first I kind of disagree because I just hate the off days in general, but he brought up a good point. He's like, don't give Judge the first game off. If anything, win the first 2, and then, all right, word, you've earned a day off, or it makes sense to give him the day off, because then at least you won the series, which even then, that's irritating. But if anything, if you're going to rest your best player, do it, after you already clinched a series victory, not the first game. Especially, he ends up, same with Rizzo, they end up pinch hitting by, the 7th inning. How much of a day off even is that? They're fully dressed, they end up coming in an hour and a half later. Why not just have him get his extra 2 at-bats instead of resting him? That's, my main frustration with the Yankees right now. It's not so much their play, because like I said, 10 games in, I'm not going to be freaking out just yet, especially coming off a shortened spring training. I'll give them definitely a little bit longer of a leash. But with Boone, man, and like I said, with polar opposite on the pitching side of things, he's been really good for the most part. I'd say he's probably gets a 98%, 99%. There was one move, which was during the Baltimore series, when he brought in Wandy to face, I think it was Wandy, to face all those righties. That was definitely a little bit weird, and he did have kind of a long leash with who was it? I think it might have been with Wandy, whoever it was. For the most part, though, Boone has had a solid season of managing, 10 games in, from the pitching end of things. Lineup-wise, though, I know this is like the Yankee philosophy all in all, the rest days, man. Like, this is something that I really was hoping we weren't going to carry over from last year into this year, and so far, we kind of are. Fortunately, we do have, one of the most passionate and invested fan bases, and probably the most, what am I saying, yo? We have the most passionate and invested fan base in baseball, so we do hold them accountable, and, you guys are, which is awesome. Like, Yankee fans, we truly do expect the best, and when you're not even giving your team an opportunity to, like, give us the best, when you're not putting out a full lineup, that's where I really start to get pissed. And you guys know, I'm optimistic. I am still optimistic, by the way. This isn't like me giving up by any means, no, not at all. But, like, if the Yankees lose, I typically don't make a video after, because I like to talk when I'm happy, for the most part, at least. But right now, that left a bad taste in my mouth, that Baltimore series. It really was embarrassing. So, yeah, don't panic. Definitely do not panic. The sky is not falling 10 games in, but, Boone, if you're watching this, bro, we really got to get together. You cannot be sitting Judge. Judge should be playing basically every single day. Rizzo should be not sitting when he's your hottest hitter. And he also, Rizzo's done great for us, by the way. He's a first baseman. It's not like he's, an outfielder laying all over the place. He's a first baseman, probably is the most rested everyday position player, if that makes sense. So, if anything, DH him too. Like, the guys that, especially when they're hot, Rizzo is hot. No reason when you're trying to win a series against the Baltimore Orioles, you should be sitting him. So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I want to come on here and make a quick video about that. Off day today. Detroit tomorrow. Let's go Yankees.